Let's keep things rolling here. Give it up for your next comic, everybody. Tyson Colson.
What is this? I have nothing like planned. I have no kind of... What if people... This is just like the show where we just trauma dump? That's what we're doing? We just about to get sad in this motherfucker? We're about to just talk about some sad shit? Well, I'll get there. But I remember the first time I got a big laugh. I was like 7 years old. I was in second grade. And I'm 6'4" now, so I've grown into my ears. But when I was a kid, these motherfuckers was weird. You know what I mean? I used to get caught a lot of fucked up shit. But I remember I was in second grade. I was like 7 years old, and this kid in my class, he was trying to bully me. And he was like, "You look like Elmo." And then I responded, and I was very impressed with this. It's not something I would say now at 33, but when I was 7, I was letting shit fly, you know? And I remember being like, "La la la, Elmo's word all in your mom's pussy." And it killed just like that, yeah. And that shit fucking crushed, you know what I mean? And I did. That's when I just got the high of the laugh, you know? The teacher laughed. Everybody was laughing at that motherfucker. It was great. He beat me up later on, but it was good, man. I've probably been beaten up 7 times in my life for making fun of people. And because I don't, you know what I mean? I don't really fight well. I've never really cared to learn. But really, you know what I mean? That's what I'll say to make myself more comfortable. I just didn't want to learn. I don't know. I would have been the best fighter if I cared. If I wanted to fight, I'd be fucking John Jones around here. I'd be fucking UFC champion, you know, but I just didn't want to. But I remember being from Cleveland, it would pull some fucked up shit. This is the trauma part, all right? Let's lock in. I was 7 years old and I was riding off of that high, you know what I mean? But then I was 9 years old and that's the first time I'm playing basketball. You know, basketball in rougher neighborhoods is a very safe place for kids. It just keeps you out of the streets. It keeps you focused. And, you know, you learn structure, things along those lines. Sports in general was really, really good for me, basketball. But I remember being at the park and at 9 years old, seeing somebody right next to me get shot and killed, shot right in the face, and you're there and you're looking at it, and it would change your mindset, things on how you see the world, and now safe places don't feel safe anymore, you know. I think at 9 years old, nobody should really have to learn how to navigate life and navigate themselves, and after seeing something like that, and then you figure out how to get through it. You move on, and then at 12 years old, you know, I was sexually assaulted at 12 years old, and that's the moment that, you know, I think was the thing that makes you just look at yourself differently. Which is the hardest thing. It's not to see the world different or friends or whatever. It's to look at it in the mirror and not know who you're looking at anymore, you know. At 12 years old, that happened. There was a lot of things I didn't know what my sexuality was growing up, you know what I mean? Didn't know, you know, do I like guys, do I like girls? Because I was put in a position where this guy, 19 years old, made me feel like this was a normal thing. And it happened for, I think, 6-7 months, and I thought that it was normal, you know. And those are the you know, the moments that stick with you, the scars that never really heal, you know. But at 13, I tried to sell heroin to a lady with no feet and got bit, and that was pretty tough too. You know. You get bit by a sawed-off Sally, boy, it'll change things for you. I thought that shit at 12 was hard, nigga, and now I try to step out into the streets. I thought getting your back blown out by a BBC was hard enough. When you get bit by a nubby Nancy, boy. All right, Tristan, come up here.
Give it up for Tyson Colson, everybody.